Boom. What's up? What's up, y'all? Top Flight TV, man. I'm here with some special guests. We about to have a panel discussion. Got some topics, some very important topics to talk about tonight. I got some special guests. First guest I have Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clark, and we have Antonio Mingo. Uh, I'm gonna let them do their thing in a minute. Uh, from what I understand, Dr. Reverend Clark is an activist in the community. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let y'all tell the people who y'all are and what y'all do. We can start with the Reverend first.
Thank you there so much. I am Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clark. I am the unorthodox, non-traditional minister. A couple of things that I do in the community. I have a couple of initiatives that I work to help combat and eradicate the disparity of homelessness. And I am also a social justice uh, fighter. I've pushed for a lot of policy and legislation to be implemented. And my top two policies is that I want to reform foster care and also have a bill that represents the unhoused. Um, I am from the DMV area. I was born at Inova Hospital in Virginia, um, and I have three groups: the We Take Care of Us movement group, the Social Distance Against Racism, that is dealing with law enforcement and institutions that feel racism, and Breath of Life Come As You Are Ministry uh, Incorporated. So those are a few little things that I do. I'm a freedom fighter, um, and I'm just really about pushing for change for our people. You know what I'm saying, and just trying to make a difference any kind of way that I can. You know, um, it's about having a righteous, moral uh, position. On society. So those are a few little things that I do. Those are a few little things I do. I'm also a screenwriter. I forgot to put that in there too. I'm also working on a movie called Confessions of a Backslider, that's dealing with the ministry done in a different perspective from the streets, because that's something that we in the ecclesiastical church, we always service those inside of the church. And the real mission is to meet those outside of the church. So that's my focus, and that's what my mission is, to reach people where they at, meet them where they at, and, let them know that God love them, and that, it doesn't matter what background they come from or what they may be tied up into. God love them, and so that's what my mission is.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Antonio, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm gonna be a little more shorter so we can get right into it because I'm real anxious. I ain't gonna lie. Like Dr. Clark said, we boots on the ground. So, and I tell him I don't really like too many long conversations. I like to get to it. But my name is Antonio Mingo. For all who may not know, and all who do know, whether see me in passing or whatever have you. Former protest organizer for DC back in the 2020 with the George Floyd movement. I was the one that shut the highways down. And was going bumping heads with the mayor directly. Outside of that, also a gun violence survivor as well. That same year, I was shot September fall that year, right after a protest during the summer in DC, of course, right around the corner from the Redskins' old stadium, RFK. Um, Outside of that, like I said, being a community activist as well with Dr. Clark, we've been doing this even before protests back in, I say, probably as far as 2017, 18 that I teamed up with him. Because I know definitely going in 2019, we flooded homelessness with helping them out at Union Station, Union Market, before they before things went left and they removed them from over there. We did a lot of giving them food, and of course with Dr. Clark's his organization and 501c3 and everything else. We've been, just hitting the ground running between feeding homelessness, protesting. He was in Baltimore, I was down here in DC holding it down with that. And then now this gun violence thing as well, and police killings thing is like new on the agenda. It's not a new thing, but new on the agenda that we, trying to attack, along with still, men's shelter and things of that sort. So outside of that, I also do music. I really don't, to be honest, I'm very humble. So, the music side, that's just, I feel part of my calling, part of my gift, but I don't promote it as much unless need be, because again, right now, when I do this type of work, it's not about me. So I don't ever want to, want people to think or have that concept of me like, okay, he doing this probably for clout or because he's trying to get his album off the ground or mixtape off the ground or something. It has nothing. These are two different things, but I am implementing and connecting them both. For sure, like my guy D1. I want to say shout out to him because I'm coming right up that lane with him. So that's all.
That's dope, brother. That's dope. And I could tell that you're not clout chasing. You know what I mean? Some people you can see the clout chasingness, man. But I could tell that you authentic with yours, man. And then you do your music on another side. You know what I mean? I respect that. But we just gonna jump right into it, man. Yesterday I got a call from my man Antonio, and he had some things that he wanted to do. And first question I want to ask y'all is, did y'all end up doing that today? Were you able to fulfill the goal and make the moves that you wanted to make today? And please elaborate on what that move was and why.
So I'm gonna let Dr. Clark speak on that real quick, because that's his arena. It's all our arena, but I'm saying because of his position, his title, I respect it. So I want him to speak on that first.
So we're in I guess you would say, a planning stage, scoping the ground and trying to get the lay work out of, the parties B. We have a lot of pillars. They say through every movement, there is branches and roots. You can always tell the success of a thing by the branches and the roots that it bears. We're in the planning stages. However, the mission is, what we're trying to do is hold religious institutions to be accountable for the people that they are to be shepherding. And when I say religious institutions, that means if you're a pastor, if you got a small church, tiny church, mega church, and you're in the community where a lot of these disparities are happening, such as food deserts, such as gun violence, such as unaccountability when it comes to law enforcement, because let's keep it real all the way. It's not a middle or gray area with me. Accountability has to be the tone. It has to be the climate. It has to be the culture for everyone. Don't matter if you wear a badge or you don't wear a badge. It don't matter if you in the classroom or you on the bus. You the one riding the bus. Everybody has to operate in accountability. And I'm going to keep it a bean all the way across the board, 100 on 1,000. I sound like I was on my show, Uncut. But we have a law enforcement in Prince George's County that does not want to be accountable. You cannot sit here and put hands on the Holy Bible that I read, and you stand before a living, holy, righteous God, and you say, I swear to protect and serve, but you are inflicting nonsense on the community. That badge does not make you better. You are a human being, and you are standing before a righteous God. And I'm saying that because we take that so lightly. Everybody, they want to take the hat off and hold. That cannot be a trend. That can't be a PR stunt. And unfortunately, we got a lot of people in the ecclesiastical church that is in with the nonsense. This very topic that we're talking about right here, there were pastors that created a wall, a prayer wall for this police chief, knowing that this police chief was not reprimanding his staff for the indications of the nonsense. This old county executive is tied into a lot of these religious institutions in Prince George's County. And she's been absent. Her silence is complacent. Her silence is approving to say the verdict was okay. I'm gonna stop right there.
Let me stop you right there. That was powerful, man. We still didn't tell the people what you're talking about, because some people don't know what's going on, and they might see this and they might not know what's going on. I got the title and all that, but somebody briefly tell me exactly what you're talking about. This latest incident that's sparking a lot of controversy and outrage.
Let me see. I got you on this one. So basically what's going on is we had a PG County officer, Prince George's County police officer. I'm gonna say it that way for PG, for people who don't know what PG stands for, if need be, whether they all over the country, whatever, who basically shot and killed another black man. And yes, I'm going to use that word black man because we're the ones being attacked. Black man while handcuffed in the front of a police car. Now, from when I did my homework, from the news, tabloids, everything, this happened roughly going on about almost a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it said January, if I'm not mistaken, of last year. Well, not last year, 2020, not a year ago, I'm sorry. But of 2020 January, when this had happened. So again, they said he was intoxicated, things of that sort. The thing I'm gonna be honest, I disagree with on this is this. I feel like we've all had our moments of, you know, being down on our luck or just having a good time that could have went left or went wrong, of being whether intoxicated, whether if you drunk or if you were high, whatever. But it didn't call for you to lose your life. It didn't call for, for somebody to shoot at you, shoot you, and then not even just anybody, but the same people that Dr. Clark said, you put your hand on that Bible, you get sworn in, and it's called protecting and serving your community. Now, my thing is this. Even if, let's just hypothetically say, and this is not saying it's true, but let's just go with their narrative for a second and show them how it still don't make sense. Let's say that he committed a crime in the community, right? Where he needed to be detained for whatever reason. That still did not call for that officer to shoot him after you detained him. I don't understand. I read something in there where they said something about he grabbed the gun or something after being handcuffed. Now, I'm going to be all the way transparent, and people can judge me, do what you do. I've been handcuffed before. I've been locked up before. When I'm in handcuffs, I'm going to tell you right now, I can barely reach the seatbelt they put you in when they put you in the back while in handcuffs, if you've been handcuffed properly. Furthermore, I've not too many times been put in no front seat if I committed a how they saying an ultimate crime like he so-called did. They're saying they try to justify it. I believe one of the news coverage, I think it was WSA 9. See, I did my homework. WSA 9, I believe they went into where they reached out to all the different police departments, DC Police Department, MPD, I guess we call them, PG County. Then they say also, I think it was Virginia. They said Virginia didn't say much on it, how their policy works per se, but they said with DC police, you are to put suspects in the back of the police car. And then also PG County being more, I think, has more funding and money per se. Let's keep it real. Versus DC police, that they have not just officers have body cams, supposed to have body cams that work, but also in their police cruisers or cars, they have cameras as well that's supposed to be working as well and recording at all times. Now, I know this to be true because not also being detained one time before in my life, but also being pulled over many times before in my life. And they have recording that comes out of the front of that car. So I'm putting all this out there to paint a picture of it's no way around it of them being able to find a good enough reason to justify you killing this man, killing this Black king, killing his father, killing this nephew, killing this cousin, brother, grandson. I mean, a whole generation of lineage you done now trying to help extinct because of you having a gun and badge and want to flex. Not to mention, this is the same officer that they said already had history. He shouldn't even been on the street anymore. He shouldn't. And from my understanding, I think it's something called, what is it, administrative leave or desk duty, something. But he shouldn't have been on the street. And he's not the only one.
Here's one thing we got to make sure that we keep here, because I don't want none of the people to get this mistaken. He was shot 7 times.
Yeah.
Let's I want us to get this because I know, you get some people to say, well, he should have never done the crime or this, that, and the. Let's get this. Let's keep this 7 times. Hello, somebody.
Hey,
you don't have enough training to detain someone without using the gun that is supposed to be your last resort. 7 times? 7 times, really?
Now let me ask you, because I heard I heard he got hit 6 times, but he was shot at 7 times. So did he get hit 7 times, or was he shot at 7 times total? It was 7 shots total.
Well, from what I have read, they said he got hit 6 times, but they said in that somehow doing their investigation that there was evidence that there was a 7th shot.
Right, and that's the reason why I say that is because I found that to be alarming, because you shot that man, 6 hit him, but you shot 7 times. Like, that's overkill. Like,
I was going to say that overkill.
What happened, dog? Like, what really happened at that crime scene?
But see, that's what WSA 9 covered as well, with the same places I'm talking about where I got all my information from as well. Part of it anyway. That they said that it was also bullets at the crime scene that was unaccounted for, because they said it was one bullet that was unaccounted for, where it would have definitely determined that his reasoning and or story wouldn't have matched to add up. And this is what the news reporter said. So now we dealing with a thing of a cover-up.
From what I'm saying, from what I saw, they basically are trying to put it on 2 jurors, saying that 2 jurors basically said that there was not probable cause, but reasonable doubt, or there was plausible reason that what he did was excused. And I would love to know what that reason it could have been, because I can't think of any plausible excuse for that to happen. Let me say this, just a little bit of experience. I've been in the front seat of that PG police car. I was arrested by PG police, and I was high on PCP. This was 20-something years ago. You know what I mean? And they took me to the station. I was handcuffed. And yes, I was belligerent and I was running my mouth. And I'm handcuffed in the station, and the officer smacked me with a baton, and I still got the scar. I still got the scar right here. And I woke up in the hospital. And the reason why I ended up in that front seat of that police car is when I left the hospital, they put me in the front seat. He let me smoke a cigarette on the way down the road in the car. And then they dropped me off, dog. That's just a little bit of history about PG police. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I'm gonna tell you the experience I had, and now this is going. I'm hitting them with the book, their own book. So of course, like they say, you really learn the law when you experience it for yourself. And this is what I know. I had a moment where I was coming from. This is back in. I'm taking you all the way back. We're gonna go back to 2014, 15. Used to go to Club Ibiza a lot on First Street, New York Avenue. I used to actually work at the club, and after promoting and all of that, I had one drunk night. I was down on my luck, drunk. I had ended up taking the car after highly intoxicated. I had about 6-7 shots of Hennessy. eyes bloodshot red, but it was to the point I had basically blacked out. Like I was so drunk, I blacked out. The reason I say this is because I drove that car from there all the way to BW Parkway, going past Chevrolet, now hitting the Maryland side. What saved my life was another driver was out there and they seen me. I was going under the speed limit, but I was riding on the rim of the car. Didn't even know it. What I learned was when after I got arrested, detained, locked up, and I came down, they had to actually take me to the hospital first, which was PG Hospital, before taking me actually to jail because my blood and alcohol levels were so high. They took me there. They ended up, like you say, I was being a little belligerent as well, and they tased me. Now, let me tell you why I say that. I ended up getting a nice lawyer. Dr. Clark would like this part of the story. His name was Sean Collins. He came from Baltimore, Maryland. Top lawyer, black guy. Beat the case. Now, ask me why I beat the case. The reason being, they wanted me to do 4 to 5 months in jail. But the thing they didn't want was my lawyer said that, okay, he can do the 4 or 5 months in jail. But after he come out, we're going to have a lawsuit on our hands. Because at that time, and I don't think it changed, because I did say 2015, but this is what I learned. Maryland law enforcement law is you are not to tase a person that is unresponsive or under the influence, because you can send them into shock and kill them. Now, I'm just speaking on just a taser. Now, let's go back and let's now connect this thing. William Green, he was what they said. Whether, what's the word, under the influence or whatever it may have been. If a taser would have been illegal to use against him, why would you think a bullet would make it even better? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then when you connect it, now you got, now I know this, I read this correctly, and now I'm going to say what I need to say. Angela also Brooks, okay? One of the ones, county exec we talking about, that used to be a state's attorney. Let's educate our people for a second. Yeah. Part of the decision-making of paying the family $20 million settlement. Basically, let's be honest, to keep them quiet. Let's be real.
I was going to ask y'all about that.
Let's be real.
How do y'all feel about that? Let me ask you, Dr. Clark, let me hear from you. What do you think about that settlement? How do you feel like that settlement impacts the movement? How do you feel like, that settlement kind of takes the steam out of getting behind this particular cause? And what do you feel about that settlement, man?
So here's what I feel about the settlement. Y'all got to remember all of this. You guys see a lot of different particulars that's going on here. Okay. Currently now, she's running for the U.S. Senate. I just want to paint this picture so y'all can get a better understanding. The only reason why she put that much money out on the table, listen, see, you gotta think from the think tank. That was her way of saying, you know what? Yes, this happened. However, this is her, in her mindset. It was supposed to be I would call it a token that, hey, yes, this happened, but this is what we're going to have. Because you got to remember, $20 million is the highest lawsuit ever recorded in history. Well, actually, in the history of Prince George's County. So you got to think about that. $20 million. Now, when you look at the climate of this, she hasn't responded. Why? Why do you think that is? Because she doesn't want none of this backlash of these questions. She doesn't want to be questioned. She doesn't want to be challenged. She doesn't want to be hit with these hot points to say, hold up, you paid $20 million at the expense of taxpayers, and then you turn right around and then you get a case like this where you get the officer acquitted. So to be honest with you, if I was in the right, if I was the voter, if I was the investor, I would be looking at this time at this type of stuff right here. I would be looking and say, hold up, you're going for the federal seat. You're going for the U.S. Senate seat. We're not just talking about a regular county or regular position. We're talking about the federal seat. We're not paying attention to this. Nobody's asking these tough, pivotal questions to say, hold up, why did it even take for this to happen? See, when you do the back work in the background of it, you find out this guy already had indications on his record. So there's a term that we use in social work. We call preventative methods, meaning we look for things that will prevent a crisis from occurring so that there would not be anything that will be a hierarchy of distress. Why are we it behooves me that it took this for this guy for this incident to happen in Prince George's County, Maryland. Our I would say our awakening right here in Prince George's County in the limelight of George Floyd. It's crazy.
With that being said, let me ask you, what's the temperature like out there? What's the tone in PG County right now? I mean, if you could gauge it, if speaking with family, friends, going to the store.
No,
like
I can actually contest to that part. I believe, and I stand corrected if my information may be wrong on the exact day, but I believe the day was that recently, this past Wednesday when the verdict got handed down, where basically everybody was posting it and everything about him being acquitted and all of that. I had literally right after that, Dr. Clark called me and he's like, yo, check this out. And it just so happened at the time he told me check it out, I'm on my social media scrolling and I see it. And I'm like, nah, this can't be right. Like this can't be true. Like it's to the point I'm laughing because I'm like, because I'm in shock. Because I'm like, are we really about to have to get back out here again? The work never stops as is, but I mean on the level of protest level, I'm talking like another George Floyd situation. But actually, this is no disrespect to George Floyd, right? But it's just a fact. Like this is, I feel, in some cases even worse because George Floyd, granted, he knee on the neck, and I mean, no form of dying is a good thing, but this man was overkilled, like many other cases we dealt with. I mean, come on, Breonna Taylor shot up in the house several times, and she was about to be a paramedic, like and it's like, and then they settled with that family. See, yeah, that's the thing. The law enforcement, what people got to realize is they be already snitching on themselves if you really pay attention. And it's like they'll turn right around and just like with Freddie Gray in Baltimore, they paying these families off and expecting that, okay, pay you off, send you a settlement. We ain't got to hear from you again. We go ahead and sneak off the officer to get him out the way, and he ain't got to go to jail and do no time. And it's like, people gotta wake up, man, because some of us be falling for it. I'm gonna be honest. And prime example, this county exec that made this help make this decision of this settlement, and then also play a part with this officer being acquitted and coming off on this. Yeah, it's all a political game to her. What we wasn't able to get it done today, to be totally honest, because we strategizing correctly on it. But we are in the near future, I'm gonna say that we are going to be soon looking to go interrupt some church services and things like that. Respectfully, not violently, by the way, just to put it out there.
Talk to me about that, dog. Go into detail. Reason why and what's your technique.
So I was raised old school. Let me just tell you my quick, somewhat of a background, not making it about me, but just real quick dab in so you know my mindset. I was raised old school. Old school as in the church was head of the community. Okay. So I don't care if you call yourself, what how Meek Mill said, oodles and noodles, baby, hood, baby, whatever you want to call it, or you was raised privileged with both parents. Don't matter. The church was supposed to have been the foundation of the community. So if it came to where you need help with groceries, like Dr. Clark say, if it came to you late on your rent, homelessness, you needed supplies, anything of that sort, Reverend said what you needed. I grew up where I had both of my grandparents. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he just passed this year, but he was a part of the men's ministry. My grandmother, she was part of the women's ministry. I was a part of Sunday school, the step team, and also the children's ministry. They had me in everything. And I mean, it was to the point that, you can go hang out with your friends at night, all this, that, and the third. But when Saturday night hit, you better have your butt in the bed at a decent time, because Sunday morning come, if you ain't up for church, you on punishment. Don't ask to go outside. Don't ask to go over a friend's house. None of that. See, that's how I was raised. So I came up in a Baptist church. So when it came down to, like, we going back to the thing, and you hear the narration all the time, we police our own. The church was that. They was the ones that used to stand in the gap of things. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's been times that I've seen, with being in and out of court so many times in my lifetime thus far, where I've seen that judges will give you a pass depending on your crime if it's not too harsh or whatever, or even put you on probation. We're supposed to get jail time if they found out you did community service with a church, with a community center, So that's what I mean when I say the church would stand in the gap. You have pastors that can write off letters of character for a person. People like me or you or whoever, when it came to us doing something that was what you call it, an adolescent act, whatever it may be. So I say all that to say we are, that's what we're missing today, is that leadership again in these churches. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna let Dr. Clark speak more in depth, because this, like I said, is his arena. But I just wanted to highlight, because I'm just about straight with the truth with it. I ain't talking around it. But a lot of these pastors and bishops, pastors, whatever, they're chasing more of a title and somewhat of wanting a political resource and or even promotion, basically in bed with the enemy. Okay, so where that's not of God. You getting all of this funding and all of that, and I say it all the time. Tupac said it in his documentary, with All Eyes on Me and everything. He said, why do I need gold ceilings to talk to my God? We got mega churches out here. You see what I'm saying? Where you can house the homeless. I see a lot of these churches, and you know what? Let me call some out. Who was it? Jericho, Reed Temple, First Baptist of Glenarden, just to name a few, that has money where they have more than one location of a church, and or I know Reed Temple and Jericho as well, and nothing against our elders, but they got money to build these senior citizen living homes, but we can't get updated homeless shelter, upgraded homeless shelter, or a rehabilitation center for our black men, even our black women, even if it's the at-risk youth. Dr. Clark will tell you, we was just on the phone the week before last, Thanksgiving week, when we was going to feed the black men in the homeless shelter that they've been trying to shut down as well, but I let him get more detail about that. But and we had a young man call us. And basically, he was saying that he got kicked out at age 17, 18. Kicked out of his home and had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. See, DC, I can give them a little slight of a leniency, even though they got some BS with them too, because that mayor, she ain't doing too well neither. But they got way more programs in PG County, and PG County seems like they got way more money. So I don't know, the math ain't mathing right to me. But go ahead, Dr. Clark. I don't want to overtalk nobody.
Oh no, you fine. The bottom line is this. I'm cutting straight for the throat. We don't have leaders that are about kingdom. We have leaders, spiritual leaders that are about political gain, political investments. They're not about for the will of the people. Some of these individuals have jets right in the communities where gun violence is. Yeah, I'm calling them out. Yeah, and I don't really care who get mad, glad, sad, or whatever. Spirit of faith. Yeah, because I get the calls. I get the calls. I've gotten calls as of most recently of individuals who've been members of churches for about 20, 25 years. And when their loved one has transitioned, that their pastor tells them that because they haven't sown a certain number of tithes and offerings to the church in plight of the pandemic, which we all know that post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, however you want to say it, before the pandemic, after the pandemic, now that everybody's finances are not, up to par. So some people are, doing the bare minimum to make sure that, they get their bills paid, they light bill, their water bill, getting their medicines and stuff. I'm getting calls from prominent churches, mega churches that bring in at least $1 million, $2 million. And I know from the what was it called? The Biden Act in Prince George's County. This whole y'all won't like me, but I'm gonna call it out. Community Hope in Action by Reverend Tony Lee. I just got out of a meeting with another counselor who said, look, this Community Hope in Action program is supposed to be helping the people, and this is my client. And we're talking District 8. District 8 is Oxon Hill, Temple Hills, Fort Heights, over there on the Eastover side, Allentown, Camp Springs. If you look at the position of District 8, you got too many mega churches right in the plights of these communities in which the gun violence, the food deserts are at an all-time high. I just encountered a fentanyl overdose experience. Each time that there is a shootout or something of such, people are calling me. They'll call Antonio. They call my brother. Hey, and we're just good Samaritan, God-driven individuals, but these people got to get checked. And from the research that I've been doing, honestly, I look at the federal, and they always say, if you want to know how, if you want to know the path and the trajectory of a person, follow the money, because the money's going to show you, it's going to lead them, it's going to lead you down to the path to figure out what it is that they're doing and how it is that they're living, the lifestyle that they're living. Are they pimping the people? Yes. In Prince George's County, we got religious leaders that are pimping people, and they're not doing right by God's people. It is a shame before God's green earth. This is not right. And I have specifically, I put a call out. I asked for 1,000 pastors. 1,000 pastors. 1,000 pastors. We got to come together. Everybody's a bishop. Everybody's an apostle. You've been doing ministry since Jesus was a baby. Well, guess what? For every liquor store, there's a church. For every bullet that's going off, there's a church near or within the radius of this. And we have members from children. I have pulled up to a 3-year-old suffering with a wound from a bullet. Let me say, oh, well, you don't have to call them church out. No, I'm gonna call the institution out, because if I find out from the federal that money was given to that institution to help combat gun violence, to provide mental health support services, to provide case management, to provide rental assistance, that's what that money is given. It's given to that. But I'm going to tell you what the new scheme is. Everybody's getting a nonprofit, and they're scheming. Nonprofit has become the new pimping. I'm exposing it. And I'm going to tell you, not only that, That's why you have gatekeepers for individuals like myself and a few other colleagues of mine. They won't tell individuals how to write grants. They won't share the grant information. Why? Because people like myself that stand for truth and righteousness and stand for the people, they're afraid. They're afraid of the wrath of God. But the Bible says, touch not my anointed. And see, they don't see, I take God for his word and do my prophets no harm. When you pimp God's people, when you have senior citizens that go to churches and you tell them they cannot not afford to pay their tithes, and you tell them the senior citizen got to make a decision on whether or not if they're going to get their insulin because they've been forced to pay money into the institution. And let me tell you a tricky one now. Now they got it to where now they are telling their members to automatically sign up for a withdrawal from their accounts. Can I tell you one of the things that I just dealt with most recently? I had a couple that reached out to me, and he said, Dr. Clark, let me tell you what's going on. He says, I'm trying to buy a house, but I can't buy a house because the church says that I am to pay 40%, and they automatically have it automatically direct deposited out of their withdrawn out of their account to the church. And he said this is causing a riffraff between me getting a home, because when you are in the hometown buyer program, they look at how you got it's a certain way in which that they look at transactions that's being done on your account. And we got these churches that they're pouring money into foreign countries. Listen, I'm about my African brothers. I'm about my Haitian people, but we are here in the DMV. We are here in the US of A. When are we going to take care of home? When are we going to take care of our home first? Everybody wants to do global mission. Everybody's Africa, Africa, Africa. But when you look at the nation's capital, you see the same people that you helping in Africa right in your own front backyard. How can you skip past where you live at and you decide you want to go on the other side of the equator to go help other people, but you got stuff that's stinking right in your front yard? Somebody make that make sense to me. And I don't care how much you Jesus lover or all of that. Jesus wouldn't do that. And this is what we have. And people are okay because more people, long as I got my Mercedes Benz, long as I got my Beamer, long as I'm good, I don't have to worry about the next man. I don't have to worry about that. But guess what? Life has a way of catching up with you. You can close the door. You can close the door all you want and ignore and say, "Oh, I ain't worried about this. Okay, everything's good. Ooh, okay." Now we seeing you see what happened at the Nationals last year. When they do when with Bowser, did all these finishings with the stadium and whatnot, and the out of towners had to come in and be able to see what the gun violence happening. So now something gets done because what out of towners when they had the Capitol, when they had the riot on the Capitol, and now those individuals that raided the Capitol, it took out of towners for them to get sent to DC jail, for them to get running water inside the jail, to get flushing toilets. This is what we allow under a Democratic Black leadership. I said it, I'm putting it out there, and I don't care who get mad, glad, or sad. This is the stuff that's affecting our people. Our people. I don't want to hear nothing about the white man this, the white man that, because the white man ain't doing nothing. We doing it to ourselves and doing it against our own brother and sister.
Yeah, we doing his dirty work.
I thought the word say we do unto others as we have done unto us. That's the word.
Hey, I gotta give you some pushback. let me ask you. I'm gonna ask a question because it seemed, like the officer that killed that man, he was a black man, right? And even the officers that put me in the hospital, they was black. You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you, do you believe that this is a part of the structure, the white supremacist racist structure? Do you believe this is a symptom? Do you believe they're tools of white supremacy? Do you believe that white supremacy has nothing to do with the conditions of PG County or any of that?
No, let me put this into proper perspective.
Yeah, because I want to make. We never want. I never want to absolve that system. You okay? I never want to absolve that system of responsibility, because somewhere in the back, you know what I mean, these people are being incentivized. These Democrats are being incentivized. You know what I mean? They're getting the pecking orders. So I never want to absolve these people, behind the scenes. Just like with Africa, you spoke about Africa. In Africa, it's ran by black folks, but we know who's running them. And we know who is putting in the cause to make things the way they are. Don't get me wrong, we are complicit. You know what I'm saying? We are definitely responsible in some sense for selling out and not taking account for our people.
We got a lot of coonery going on, man. Like I said, we in a bed. A lot of us that are in these positions that can really make authentic change, or try to make it seem like we're trying to make authentic change. We're in the bed with the enemy, man. And that's just what it is at the end of the day, man. It's no other way. It's no gray area. It just is what it is. Two wrongs don't make it right. I know we talking white supremacy, and don't get me wrong. We already know. We've already seen that so many times with our ancestors, how they do things, whatever. But let's be honest here. We're in a day and time now, and me and Dr. Clark has been saying this for the longest, and we said this at the last forum meeting that happened at Bowie State University we were at. Our community needs to learn how to take accountability, okay? Because this is the thing here. Anytime you got older people, and I'm talking our community for a second, older people as whether elders, and it's no disrespect to nobody, but we're going to be real with it to deal with it. You got older people who are in position that don't want to pass the baton or train up the youngins that has what they would call fresh new blood to keeping the world revolving to a better source of, us living better. Because you got to think, everybody got their moments. We got our timing. We're going to get old. You're going to die off. You got to pass it on. It just is what it is. That's life. But when you got older people that, okay, prime example, even with Congress, you got, like you said, the Democrats, all that. You got Congress, whether Republican and Democrats. They said, from my understanding, I did my research. I was on YouTube looking at it. And they said that DC Congress right now is known, the term they use is that they're known as the nursing home right now. Because of the age right now of what, see, I do my homework. This is why they try to blackball us, because we some educated black men right now. That's why. But I'm going to tell you, they're known as the nursing home, which means, if people don't understand that, as that you have people that are as old as 70, 80 years old that's not looking to give up their seat for another fresh blood to come in. You got to understand, we're in a whole new time now, new generation now. And I know they say history repeat itself, but history ain't repeat itself like this. Like maybe some similarities, but come on, man. We right now are making our own selves extinct, man. Don't get me wrong. We have the police killings, all of that. But even with the police killings, like you say, it was a black man, black officer that killed William Green, another black man. And it's like, and then you have a black woman who is in position. You see what I'm saying? So think of the black little girl that's growing up. You see what I'm saying? That plays on the playground and had hopes of being in position to make change in the world. Think of how that affects her. Think of how she looks up to that and accidentally can think that's the right way to go. You know what I'm saying? You're not setting an example. DC mayor, a black woman. Again. Oh, let's keep it real. They both endorsed each other, by the way. If people don't know that, county exec, DC mayor, they endorsed each other. They had it on the news. And now when you look at things, when you look at Kilmo News, 301 News, Moco News, hey, the ones that keep us informed on things, like they have the same issues: gun violence, carjackings. Do you not know DC got the same problem that Maryland got? You want to know why? The reason being because you got people coming from DC doing it in Maryland, people leaving from Maryland doing it in DC. They right there. Suitland Parkway is the only thing that come in between us.
I wanted to ask you about that. From what I'm saying, and I was in the city last week, man. There seems to be a crime wave going on in that area. It's a lot of carjackings. It's a lot of kids doing the carjackings.
And you know why?
Yeah, I'm about to ask you. I was out there last week, and it looked like martial law. I was in Southeast, man. It was a police officer on every corner. The helicopter was out. It was just madness. So, what do you think, man? Tell me about that. What do you think is going on with that, man? And what's happening?
Well, prime example. Now, notice how you said the police is out there. Now, let's take a trip down Eastern Market that recently happened. I know it for myself because I work in that area. And I'm not going to say where I work exactly just for my safety, but in general, I work close by that area, Eastern Market. And let me tell you something. I see DC police sitting out there at that intersection light that's borderline from Maryland to DC. Oh, and then you got PG County Station, one of the stations that's in that shopping center, Eastern Market. I mean, Eastover. I'm sorry, not Eastern Market, Eastover. So when you got police sitting right there, I posted it on my Instagram, and people go look at it. Follow me at I am Antonio Minho, just so people can have it. But go look at it. I posted a comment that I had just seen. I think it was either last night or the night before on my Facebook. And it was one of the people that know, I do community work and all of that. And they sent me a long comment of frustration and anger, saying that they had seen a young man getting robbed right in front of where the police was sitting at, and they did nothing. So when it goes to your question of why this is, one, I'm going to tell you, because the police ain't doing their job. And then when they fake want to do their job, they do their job wrongfully, as in you're overkilling another black man while in handcuffs. What else? You want to pull people over because of a broken tail light, and you turn that into a police killing. Like, I mean, we can look at the history in all different states and cities. This is what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just seen and take a quick sidebar in DC location. Just literally the other day, to be exact, Ballou High School, I seen kids standing on the school property, rolling up and smoking weed. Now, I thought this was supposed to be a drug-free school zones, what the school zone was supposed to be. Now, I get it. They passed the law or whatever for marijuana, but and see, I'm still learning my laws with that too. I never heard that was a law that kids can now stand on school property and smoke weed or marijuana or any drug. So I stand corrected if that is it, but I haven't known that in all of my days of living and everything else. But then at the same time, you don't have enough programs for these kids, man. And it ain't that we don't have enough because we don't want to. They got the money. They just don't want to do it. I mean, we go back to Marion Barry. Like, come on, boys and girls programs. You know what I'm saying? Even on the Maryland side, you got Parks and Recreation. Like, man, when I came up, I played basketball. I was part of the AAU team. Before that, I was part of the Parks and Rec League, basketball league. I mean, it was, I did assistant coaching for Biddy basketball for the little kids. I mean, we had a lot of things that kept us, even though the ones that was in the streets, it kept us being from off the streets. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's to the point now to this day, the last forum we went to, which was about a year ago, I think, Dr. Clark, when we ran to the county exec out Suitland, they had the so-called community meeting. One of the guys that was there and supporting us was one of my mentors, and he a park police officer named Mr. Charles. Now, mind you, he became my mentor. We known each other now for some years because when I was little knucklehead, he wasn't quick to try to throw no cuffs on me. I was up at the rec center. And he would see me, yoke me up. Antonio, that ain't the way to do it. Come on. He wasn't quick to pull a gun out on me or quick to put handcuffs on me. He was like, man, get up in this rec center. Come be around this love of these people that really care about y'all. See, that's what's missing today. But I'm gonna let Dr. Clark talk.
Nah, I can concur everything that you said. Do I believe that we have some forms of systemic oppression? By all means. Do I believe that even though after in the day of the awakening of spiritual awakening and coming to an understanding of who we are as a people, as a spiritual people, yeah, but we also have to come to the full understanding accountability. It's just that accountability has become a trigger word in our culture. And I get that there are causes and effect to certain things, but it's just some things that it's not even about necessarily about it being a color thing. It's just the mere fact of it being a human thing.
Man, they
Children
just
don't have to. Children don't aren't taught to say, "Hey, this is mine." They automatically learn that this is mine, and we can't avoid it. We can't avoid it. What we do to our community, I've been doing this limelight of work for over 14 years. One day I was down in the community and I was like, prayers up, guns down, stop the violence, right? And a big mama from the community pulled me to the side. She said, young man, let me tell you something. She said that message is good, but it's only one problem. If the people who were paid, trained to serve and protect, you wouldn't have to even worry about being out here. She said, and we say this all the time, if you want to know the success of a nation, the success of a community, look at the leader. If the head is not together,
the body's out of order.
the body's out of order. The branches, the roots, all that's out of order. And that's what it starts with. That one, they asked me, say, "Oh, what do you think is the problem to solve these issues?" I said, "Oh,
Cons-
really? You?" I said accountability.
yeah.
Let me ask you this: we know a lot of these people in high places they bought and paid for. Is there anybody that you all know or that you've heard of that's in the political arena that's grassroots that is running for important offices that you all could uplift and vote for this coming election? Somebody that you know is not compromised, somebody that you know that has the same goal as the grassroots, or somebody that y'all can potentially groom and get behind and back, so when they get into that high place, they can make effective change. Is there anybody out there right now that his
And
name is
and and
buzzing in the street?
and in Prince George's County, if the beloved angel throws her name back in the hat in the race, it would be Tanya Sweat.
You said Tawny Sweat?
Tanya Sweat.
Tanya,
Miss Tanya
okay.
Sweat.
Okay.
And I second that motion because I've seen that for myself. She's put in the work.
And what she do as of right now? Is she an activist, or is she in a political seat or something like that?
She is she's an icon, very icon in the community. She was the president, I believe, for the PTA for over 25 years. She is a attorney. She's licensed in Carolina, Washington D.C., and Maryland. She's an advocate for children, and her top thing is uh, competency and children, competency for education and learning the civics engagement of how government affects we the people, because we have a lot of us that, unfortunately, due to what we have seen and experienced, we all don't understand how much government actually really affects us. We wake up in the morning, we go outside our door and we see a sidewalk, and we see a traffic light, or we see a store, or we see that is all coming from the essence of government. And so she's been doing that. She's been taking us back to the basics of understanding government. And this is someone, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really care for the only person that I ever have gotten behind in history was Bernie Sanders. Why? Because he talked about things that were current, student debt. He talked about, why does the country have so many wealthy people, but we have so many people that are poor. He talks about that, all the time. So yeah, that would be who I would that would be somebody that in my view that I would get behind, Miss Tanya Sweat, because she has shown that, and she's still working. She's still doing what still working for the people, still doing stuff, still showing up when people have concern. She was very instrumental. She took on a lot of pro bono work in Prince George's County because she's the only attorney that actually understand how to deal with a lot of this stuff that we have going on with the COVID relief. A lot of individuals got put out, and she was taking on their cases because those individuals that got put out, they should have never got put out because they got approved letters stating that their rent was going to be paid. Mm-hmm. And so she stood in the gap. She said no when they had the curfew. We both had been on the phone with the police chief and said, hey, we understand that you got this little curfew going on, but brother, we need you, can you tone it down a little bit, because we have working parents, we have working mothers and fathers, and unfortunately they're not making enough to be able to provide babysitting. And so some of the youth were down at the public library, at the computer, the library, a place where you get literacy and education. But library closed up at 8. So if mom don't get into the door till 11 or 12, and they're found out there past that curfew, guess what happens? Clink, clink. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so, her and I have been both instrumental. Hey, Chief, how you doing? This is the situation. Hey, can you tone down? Because these are the things that we're talking about right here. These are things that we don't always think. We don't always consider. We say, well, they don't have a babysitter. Well, they need to get 2 or 3 jobs. Well, mom and dad is working 2 or 3 jobs. So now what? The cost of living is at an all. If you're in the DMV, cost of living is high. I went to the store the other day, and I just wanted was a cup of coffee, and then he was like $5.25. I was like, what? I'm like, this 7-Eleven. What you mean? Like, come on.
Man, I just went there and tried to get a jug of water. Water is $3 and some change. I'm like, water supposed to be free. Like,
Hey, look here, man. Man, this is a everlasting conversation, and I want to thank y'all brothers for coming on. And look, we definitely got to do a part 2. Man, because there's so much information. I know I want to get to my brother's movie and his movement with the foster care and stuff too. But I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes each to close out. I want y'all to tell the people what y'all working on. Tell the people whatever message you want to get to them. Tell them where they can find you. All your socials and all that, man. So we can start with Antonio.
So let me say this first, real quick. Tomorrow on Monday evening, the William Green family is holding a press conference tomorrow at PG Circuit Court tomorrow at 6 p.m. I believe it is. So wanting everybody to know if they're in the area, even if you're not, you decide to travel, come stand in solidarity and support of the family, and making this wrong right. Basically, because it's strength in numbers, and we definitely need it on this. Because even though this is William Green that was killed, we all are William Green, just like we all were George Floyd, we all were Breonna Taylor, we all were, Jacob Blake, all of that. So unfortunately, he goes right in the statistic with the rest of them. Sad to say. So we have to treat him just the same way and rise his name up and rise the awareness up on what's going on with him, because this cannot be just kicked under the rug or anything, because we got to get ourselves back and accountability, like Dr. Clark said. But my social media is I am Antonio Minho for my Instagram. I am Antonio Minho for my Instagram. Say it again. My Facebook is Antonio Minho as well. And that's what I'm more active on, is my Instagram and my Facebook, of course. So, definitely that's where y'all can reach out to me, touch bases with me, things of that sort. I said outside of that, you'll see me in passing in the community more than likely, with just, between feeding the homeless to, gun violence awareness, doing peaceful walk marches, anything of the sort. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm doing. Like I said, I also do music as well. I have a lot of great things coming with the music as well. A lot of 2 main tracks that I'm about to definitely release with a lot of well-known artists as well, local and also national artists. One to mention T-Rail, who's been with before he passed from gun violence as well, Mo3. He also was with spent a lot of time, with Boozy Badass to be exact. So y'all definitely go check him out. He's doing wonderful things. Also our city's own, I call him the Jay-Z of the DMV, and that's Trey Chaney. Of course, and he's been on BMF series, The Wire, things like that. So that's a good friend and brother of mine, family of mine. So we got a lot of great things coming. But outside of that, I am looking to put together as well, executive produce, and I'm gonna have, of course, like we talk, both y'all. I actually talk to both y'all on with putting together a TV series or somewhat of a mini documentary series of based on gun violence that I will be looking to put together, and that I got Trey Chaney already gave me the green light that he would co-executive produce it with me. So just to get that celebrity status in there, to draw some of the people in. So we coming, and I'm also looking to like I was always taught, when you come to the table with a complaint, come with a solution as well. So part of that, what I mean, as in when it comes to this stuff of gun violence and things in the community, even though you may hear my passion and my frustration, I'm also behind the scenes making sure I'm doing my due diligence, which is getting my nonprofit started as well, based on gun violence, because I am a gun violence survivor as well. So it is my duty. So of course, me being from PG County area, but I was shot in DC, it's like, I guess that's God's way, like we just need you to tackle it both. So that's it. That's all for me, man. I'm Antonio.
Thanks, brother. I definitely got to get you back up on here. We definitely got to chop it up. I got some in-depth questions to ask you as well. Go ahead, Rev.
Best way you guys can check me out is at Breath of Life Come As You Are Ministry Inc. On Facebook. You can go there. Breath of Life Come As You Are Ministry Inc. is on Facebook. There's a word that's always uploaded, a scripture or something that's related to the community, or a word of empowerment that is on there. My Instagram is all lowercase, all one whole compound word, change agent now forever. Or you can also via go follow on Facebook. We Take Care of Us Movement. We Take Care of Us Movement group, which is on Facebook as well. That is a group where various people that have different pillars of resources, where we funnel anytime that there's a need of something. We try to come together to be able to meet that need and get that need and that need met towards the people. So whether it be a clothing resource, a food resource, or what have you, a mentorship, or whatever job opportunity and whatnot, that is the group that you want to be a part of. If you're an employer or you have something to bring to the community, you might be a life coach or whatever. That's what that group is. It's all about. And then, last but not least, y'all just stay tuned. Confessions of a Backslider is coming at you. It's coming at you big. We are going to do ministry in an unorthodox, non-traditional, straight street. Yeah, I'm saying it's just like that, straight street. And we gonna make this thing happen and let people know that there is good things that can come out of the DMV area. And my saying is, we always say, up and down from the Baltimore area, from the We Are Us movement, we are all we got and we are all we need. And guess what? We must become the change that we want to see. It's time to get up off the sidelines and get in the game, and let's make something happen, and let's be the change that we want to see. yours truly, your boy, Mr. Uncut from Uncut Live Productions on Facebook too. Yeah, that's my other social media platform for community news, boots on the ground to let you know the real deal, Holyfield, where we keep it 100 on 1,000.
That's right. Well, there it is, man. Hey, man, I knew I said, V Bennett, what's up, man? I appreciate you tapping in, homie. Tommy Bundy, man, appreciate you too. I know I said I was going to take questions at the end, but this hour flew by. We had so much information, man. Yeah. But look, fellas, man, I appreciate what y'all doing out there. Keep doing your thing. Keep pushing and fighting a good fight, man. That's truly inspirational.
Appreciate you too, man.
Like,
definitely.
Straight up, man, because it's needed. You know what I mean? But on that note, man, we're gonna go ahead and shut down, and I'm gonna hit y'all, and we're gonna figure out when we're gonna come back and do a part 2.
All right. In a minute.
All right, man.
All right, man. Y'all be easy, man. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
V Bennett, have a good one, brother.